This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. The day after the Usyk Joshua rematch, and I'm joined by Kalle Sauerland. Just give me your immediate reaction, mate.
To the main event?
Yeah,
I guess we can all say, oh, we all knew, Usyk, better technical boxer, win by points. We could go that way, or we could analyse it a bit further and look at what I think AJ improved massively between the fights. Does it warrant a third fight right now? No. But down the line, absolutely. Will he, when he hangs them up one day, will he look back and think, should I have taken that fight in between and learn in that fight to take that to Usyk? Because he definitely closed the gap last night, but not enough. And there was still a couple of hurdles to go, and he didn't quite get there. But you saw from the reaction, I thought it was a genuine reaction. I thought, you can knock him, but if you know what goes into a camp around boxers and the way I'm sure he approaches it, I've never seen him in camp, but I can imagine, having seen many heavyweight champs in camp, he's one. He said it. He did not pick up a pair of gloves at age 5 and went into an amateur system. He was knocking about North London when he was 18 and walked into a gym in Barnet or Finchley, and that's how he came to boxing. He could have picked probably football, basketball, baseball. Well, we don't do too much baseball over here, but could have been a good cricketer. Imagine facing him with a fastball. Oi, be jumping out the net, under the wickets. But no, joking aside, he could pick any sport. He picked boxing, and I think boxing. He's done well out of boxing, but boxing's certainly done well out of him. So let's not knock the man. Let's rather, applaud him for trying against a boxer who is, a generational great. Let's not break any bones about it. I was fortunate enough to place the 4 belts on him at cruiserweight in the ring in Moscow when he beat Kasiev. He's a fantastic fighter. He really is. He's a very, very special talent. I had some great times with him in the World Boxing Super Series, and he's just blossomed now at heavyweight. He's a thinky guy. He did, for me, actually, he'll be quite disappointed with last night because I think he didn't up it. I wasn't like, I can't say I wasn't impressed with him because he was fantastic, but I was expecting more. I was expecting that left hook to do a lot more because he's a learning fighter and he learns from fight to fight, and he's facing the same guy. I don't think AJ did that much differently. He just did everything better than the first fight. And I think Usyk didn't improve from the first fight. He was still fantastic, but there were things in the first fight that I thought he would have capitalized on last night, and he didn't do that. And maybe that was AJ didn't let him do that, but it was a good fight. Yeah.
There were times where AJ had Usyk on the ropes and had him rocked. There were times where AJ could have got rid of him or could have made it even more difficult for Usyk. Yeah,
I know Usyk too well. He didn't have him. No, I disagree. Yeah. I agree. I think everyone got a bit too excited. No, Usyk, if you watch the way he gets out of holes and situations, he's a master. He's a master at it. Watch the defensive work as well when when AJ's coming in, he throws the big right, and his head movement, his hand movement in defense. It's just, he's phenomenal. I understand people were waiting for that moment to get excited. And I got excited. I've got to admit, I was really wearing my AJ hat last night. Misfits Boxing today, KSI. There's the plug. But I was wearing my AJ hat last night. I really was. North London boy, so we stick together. But I don't think he was in trouble. I know the way Usyk is, and I I think AJ improved massively, but I don't think he was like on the verge of getting him out there. I'm not quite buying that because I know Usyk and I can read him quite well. I haven't seen him so many times, but it was still a fantastic performance by AJ. And like I said, a very good performance by Usyk, but for me, he flatlined a little.
Is he unbeatable? Can Fury, if that fight does come off, we all want it to come off, is he unbeatable?
Definitely beatable. You know that film Sliding Doors. You're probably too young for it, but there's a film Sliding Doors where she misses a train and then she sort of her life changes. And I just think back at the semi-final of the World Boxing Super Series, and he was losing to Bredis, who's it was great fight, one of the best fights I've ever seen live. In fact, definitely the best technical fight I've ever seen live. But I'd make it sound boring. It wasn't a boring fight. It was a fantastic fight, but on that level. And it went down to the wire of the last round, really. Some people gave it to Bredis. Some people gave it to Usyk. I had it a draw. Had he lost that fight and gone out for Boxing Super Series at that stage, what would have happened? So it was that close, and you know, Bredis is a cruiserweight legend in his own right, but it was so close. And I just think that yes, he's put some weight on, and yes, he is still improving. Was he age 35? You know, seen it all as an amateur, but you've got a big man in Fury. You've got a big man with a big boxing IQ. I think it's a bridge too far. That's my feeling. But it'd be a great fight. I don't know how exciting of a fight it'd be. I think it'll be very cagey. I think it'd be a lot cagier because Tyson will come in as the thinking fighter as well, and I think it will be a very interesting fight.
Where does Joshua go from here? Where does Joshua go from here? Because a lot of people are saying that he should have time out. He came out and said that December he wants to be back out. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you know, I mean, my thoughts are just the same as the fans' thoughts on this one. I'm not involved, but I would, if he was under my charge, I'd have him out quick as well. He wants to be out quick. He wants to keep learning. He's in a new setup, and I think if you look at the amount of big fights the heavyweight division can provide, you know, whether it's a Dillian White rematch, whether it's, you know, one of the other guys out there. There's so many contenders. You know, talk a minute about Filip Hrgovic, but you know, there's so many. You go down the list. There's, you know, Joe Joyce fighting Parker. You know, there's Dubois back in the mix. There's so many fights out there. There's so many fights also with UK interest as well, which is nice. So there's not short of opportunities on what fights there are to make a big fight in the UK with AJ. That's for sure.
Aside from that, another point: how damaging do you think this is for DAZN and Eddie Hearn not to have Joshua on as heavyweight champion?
Well, I mean, first of all, there's I think Eddie and DAZN, I'd take it as two different things. I mean, Eddie's got a fantastic stable in this, and I've been there before, ups and downs in boxing. He won't be worried. Eddie will have his next heavyweight champ soon enough. You know, that's just cycles in boxing. You know, the big 4 or 5 promoters in the world, you know, they're always ups and downs, and you know, I've seen it over 20 odd years. I've had, you know, 2 heavyweight champs at a time, and then I didn't have one for 3, 4, 5 years. You know, so it's what it is. You know, it comes and goes. You can't take it all too seriously. At the end of the day, you can only provide the platform for your fighters, do the best job. But they're the brave ones. They're the ones getting in the ring, and they got to do the business. And you've got to sit there sometimes and hope and pray.
What's your response to the AJ critics? Go on.
Just to finish the question, I forgot to answer the second part. In terms of DAZN, I don't think it changes a thing. I think, you know, if they have the rights to AJ now, if they have a big fight with Dillian White or whoever it is, it's going to do huge numbers in December if that's the month, or whenever it is. I don't think that changes a bit, and I think they have a load of great fighters on the platform, and they've been doing it now for what is it now, 2-3 years, and if you look at their schedule, it's not bad, you know. Starting next week with KSI Misfits Boxing.
Following on from that, then, a huge result for Phil Hrgovic. A lot of people thought Zhang did enough to win the fight, but Hrgovic is now mandatory for Usyk's IBF belt.
Lot of people saying, you know, that it was a close fight. He lost the fight. It was this, it was that. You know, I don't. If the same people will go back and watch the first round and tell me it's a knockdown and show me how that's a knockdown, I think Hrgovic will learn from that moment, because he should have made it very clear to the ref. He didn't complain at all. I don't know why he didn't, because it was about as big a knockdown as it just wasn't. It wasn't. I can't see how it was judged a knockdown. It was like he pulled him around the back of the head, and Zhang looked more confused than Hrgovic on why it was being counted. It was quite funny to watch, but in the end, you know, if you count that at 10-8, then you're getting into a very close fight. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to go into my opinions, because people will say I'm biased. I'm better off giving my opinion on the AJ Usyk fight. I'll give that very clearly, but I'm not going to sit here and say, no, we lost the fight. We won the fight. It's a W. We go on. We are the mandatory challenger for the heavyweight championship. What I would say is look at the stats. For every punch that Zhang threw, Hrgovic threw 3 of them. The director, I think they must have got him out of Beijing of the television event over there, because I don't know, it was bizarre. There was certain rounds which even the most hardcore of the Zhang big bag Zhang army would give to Hrgovic. Like, it didn't throw a punch to the round, but somehow they would find a clip of him hitting him with an uppercut when he didn't actually throw the uppercut in that round, but it would be shown at the end. It was a bit bizarre. I don't know if they were trying something out, or, you know, it's always that Chinese politics. Maybe they hacked the system or something. You know, I don't know. It was a weird one, but ultimately, very, very happy to get the job done after a long wait, and now it's the mandatory next. You know, the reward. You know, so we won't be losing sleep over it. That's for sure.
Moving quickly back to the AJ fight, what did you make of the scorecards? 115, 113 AJ. That's the one where people are talking about.
I think the fella mixed up the corners. It's the only explanation I've got. Must have mixed up the corners. I was going to say he'd had a drink, but he was in Saudi, so no, it can't be that. I don't know. Maybe he was smoking shisha or something. Got no idea. I don't know. That's a bizarre one. I had it 116, 112, and that was on the count. I did it again this morning. So yeah, no, I'll go with 116, 12. But no. I think it must have been a genuine mistake. Let's put it down to that.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Boxing Social, Kalle. I know it's short and sweet, but yeah, cheers for your time, mate.